Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday the 31st of January. That's right, the end of January. Quite frightening, but the year continues. Once again, I'm in the garden because of load shedding, the beauty of nature, the sound of the wind and the birds, but also the sound of the suburbs. So we'll just have to make do. With Robert Murray McShane, one of the chapters we read today is Mark chapter 3, which begins with Jesus healing a man in the synagogue. And he then goes out as he's opposed by the synagogue leaders, and a crowd follows him, and the crowd gets bigger. And we're told that because of the crowd, he told his disciples to have a small boat ready for him to keep the people from crowding him. For he had healed so many that those with diseases were pushing forward to touch him. Whenever the evil spirits saw him, they fell down before him and cried out, "You are the Son of God." And as I read that, for the first time, it struck me, this was not a well-ordered scene. This was not a nice church service where, as you come forward, if you can please come up the left side of the aisle, and after you've received, go back to your place down the right side, and we'll only... No, this was mild chaos. And as I read that, I thought, it's rather reminiscent of some of those scenes you see in refugee camps where a truck full of food arrives and the people surge forward to try and get some. There's 7,000 people in the camp and 250 packets of food, and everybody wants one. This is what I see as I read this passage. And I thought, of all the films I've seen, whenever Jesus goes out, it's well ordered, it's neat and sensible, and Jesus walks along serenely and touches this one and ministers to that one, and it's disciplined and polite. When I read this, that he ended up having to have a boat to protect him from the crowd that were pushing forward to try and touch him and get to him, this was chaos, which explains why a little later in the chapter we read that he enters a house, and the similar thing happens. There's such a great big crowd and so many people, we're told that he and his disciples were not even able to eat. And when his family heard about this, they went out to take charge of him, for they said, "He's out of his mind." And suddenly, for the first time, that comment made sense to me. Here he is with these crowds and the chaos and the noise and and they think, we've got to go and help this poor man. And as I read that, I thought, my goodness, what a challenge for us. We like our lives to be ordered. We like them to be disciplined. We like them to go smoothly and to be polite. But here we have these stories of Jesus, and as I read it, I think this was a mild chaos, and he managed to continue with it. He managed to minister in it. He managed to survive it and use it. And so when our lives turn a little bit chaotic, it's not the end of the world, and we don't have to expect that things will always be ordered and neat and sensible. Sometimes life might just go sort of begin falling apart, and there might be chaos, and we can just keep going. So I hope your life isn't like that, but when it is, just remember, think back to what Jesus went through, and ask him to be with you in the midst of the chaos that you might be experiencing, and he will be there. Same way as he is with the people, and we will be blessed.